Hey guys, we are going to get into Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. This is season 13, episode 9, Girls Interrupted. And I feel like they gave it the perfect title because these broads were fighting left and right. And we're going to get into each individual spat that they had, what went on. We are going to skip a few things because I'm not going to talk about everything, but let's get into it. Make sure you guys are liking the video. That is simply a like. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you guys go ahead and do that. And also make sure you're following me on Facebook at Lakeysha Keysha, Instagram at Lakeysha Keysha, TikTok, Kick, Snapchat, and yeah, Twitch. All right, so I'm going to bring up the intro while that plays. Make sure you guys are liking the video.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Now, listen, I don't know if you guys had the opportunity to check it out. If not, hopefully, when I give you my commentary on it, it will give you guys a visualization of what actually happened. Well, I'm going to put it to you like this. The girls were definitely fighting with their words, of course. Now, what really happened in the beginning is there was some, I'm going to say, some off situations. Like, for instance, Scrappy's baby mama, Shakira, she did have an event in which Scrappy did not attend. As you guys see, I don't have her on the thumbnail because it was real brief. And basically what she stated was Scrappy was not coming to the event. It was an event to mark the baby being 6 months old. I guess they do these 6-month-old events. I don't know. But basically, Scrappy was a no-show. Shakira lets everybody know that when Scrappy leaves from whining and dining his girlfriend, that he's coming to her for sex. So, I mean, very insignificant, right? But let's get into it. Then, shortly thereafter, Jessicawhite and Sierra met up together. Sierra explained that she was, feeling ill and had some things happening. And then we're going to jump into why I'm doing this video. Okay. So, Bambi speaks to Malaysia. Now, if you guys are not familiar with Malaysia, Malaysia is the girl from Basketball Wives. Okay. Now, what Bambi, and if y'all don't know, they are friends. They are both from Compton. Yeah. So she is explaining to Malaysia about her fiance and what actually took place. Now, if you guys watch my earlier video, if not, go check it out. Now, Rayface and Bambi were engaged. Now, I've been getting information on that as well. And people are telling me that that was faking for a storyline. And as I told y'all in my last video, the heat has been on to these cast members to really put out something that the viewers are going to want to see. So I don't know that the relationship is real, but for the purpose of this video, Bambi is explaining to Malaysia basically what happened in this situation between her and Rayface. What she is saying is that I'm sorry, is that basically Rayface, I guess is what they call him. He had gotten intoxicated, and the way that he was acting is something that she had seen before. And she pretty much said that in so many words is that she was over him pretty much getting drunk and acting out. That is what she said. She said that she had started to see signs, and basically decided to call it quits. Now, in other conversations, she alludes to the man being a liar. There was also information out there that he had a family, meaning a girlfriend and children. Now, obviously, he had children. He did not deny that in my last video. He definitely had children. But I don't know about the girlfriend piece. But people are saying that this whole relationship between him and Bambi is not real. Okay, now moving right along. Now, the next thing we saw is, remember I said the girls are fighting. So this is all leading up to what you guys will hear at the end of my video. So Rashida and Kurt meet up with Jasmine. Now they meet up at a bar. Now they are meeting up in regards to Yandy. Now, if you guys watched the last episode, Yandy kind of, in so many words, pretty much told Jasmine that she was in a poly relationship with these two, and then we saw it go off. So Jasmine really didn't get the answer. So Jasmine is meeting up with Kurt and Rashida at the bar in regards to Yandy. Jasmine states that Yandy thinks that Rashida put her up to basically destroy Yandy's marriage. Now, Yandy is taking no accountability for anything, and she's making it seem like everybody else is trying to destroy her marriage, as if there's no actions required of her damn husband, or as y'all say, non-husband. Okay. I'm sorry, Rashida laughs about it like that is totally not true. Now, Jasmine is saying that Yandy is also saying that Rashida, I mentioned that about did I mention that about the poly relationship? Wait a minute. I just better stick with my notes. Okay, let me just stick with my notes. Oh no, I didn't say that. So Jasmine also states that Yandy is telling people that they're in a poly relationship. Obviously, Rashida denies it and it's like, look, if we were in a poly relationship, I would tell you all. Like, what am I hiding? And then Rashida slipped up and said, because Jasmine is kind of like sexually fluid. And I'm like, how Rashida know that? But anywho, Rashida says that is not true and that Yandy is a liar. Okay. She said that that's totally not true. Rashida even goes on to say that she doesn't even talk to Jasmine. They don't even have any kind of conversation outside of what they just had. She said, I don't even talk to you. Okay. Now, Jasmine also confirms that Mendeecees has stated to her that Yandy can do whatever the hell she wants to do, really don't have anything to do with him. For example, Yandy, and Mendeecees, they supposed to be married, but your husband is like, I don't care what she do. She can do what she wants. So they're kind of discussing this, like, what is really going on with these two? And Rashida is like, really, like, this is not what a married couple does. Now, if y'all recall, Rashida has been the most vocal person, basically saying these two are not really married. Now, I don't know what information Rashida has, but some people say that Yandy and Mendeecees is married. Some people say that they're not. Now, in the next scene, what you guys see is Sierra, Bambi, and Jessica talking. They're at a restaurant or something, or at a bar, I'm not sure, and they are talking. They are meeting for drinks, okay? Because although we saw Bambi explain to Malaysia, and then Zell came later that she was not in this relationship or engagement with Rayface anymore, she's now explaining it to these two, okay? Now, what she says is that Rayface stated that Sierra's husband, Zay, was gossiping, and he was the one that possibly leaked the information to Rayface, which made Rayface snap at the event. But it gets a little interesting here because Bambi is saying, I think Rayface is a liar. I don't believe Zay said that. But it seems like Sierra was, I thought she was just asking a question, but it seems like we're going to find out that Sierra's husband did tell him that, because later on in the episode, it's like Sierra almost admits it. So it was a little bit weird. So I believe that Sierra's husband did tip Rayface off by telling him that Zell was going to confront him on camera. And then Rayface goes berserk, like, somebody want to catch want to get put to sleep. So he goes way to the left. Okay. Now, During this conversation, Sierra speaks again on her miscarriage. She talks about she's on depression and anxiety medication, and she becomes very emotional, with regards to talking about, um, the miscarriage situation. So she just seems she seems very much emotional. Sierra does very, very much so, very emotional. And I mean, she mentioned again that she's on this anxiety medication and all these different medications. But it was honestly really, really sad to watch and hear her, because it almost seemed as if she was actually intoxicated while she was speaking. Now, she spoke about having a total of 4 miscarriages back to back. Now, I don't know what part they cut out of this scene, but it really seemed kind of shady when Bambi says, "By who? Zay?" But I digress. Okay. Now, what happens next? Karlie, Yandy, and Sierra? Yeah. Yeah, that's what my notes say. They meet up, okay? So this is where it starts to get crazy. Okay. We got 𝐼𝐸𝐿𝐴𝐸RED. I'm sorry, we got 𝐼𝐸𝐿ARED, Bambi, and Yandy meets up. And I think Sierra may come later. I don't remember. But anyways, so here's the deal. This is where it starts to get a little crazy. Okay? This is where it starts to get a little bit crazy. So during this meetup, Sierra, she discusses her I'm sorry. So Yandy and 𝐼𝐸𝐿ARED meets up first, and they're talking about 𝐼𝐸𝐿ARED's divorce and 𝐼𝐸𝐿ARED's criminal case. If you guys don't know, Karlie was arrested and she was let out on bond because she broke into this her husband's house. They had separated. They're going through a divorce, so she has an open criminal case. Karlie says, "Okay, I can't really discuss it because it is an open case." Sierra comes and then she tells Karlie and Yandy that, remember I told y'all earlier that Zay was the one who ended Ray Face and Bambi's event. And I'm just like, Sierra girl, you just said before that, you know, how did he do it? So I'm just like, I don't know if Sierra is drunk or what's going on with her. Okay. So Sierra starts to ask Yandy about Mendeecees. Now, what we learned in this episode is everybody is asking Yandy about Mendeecees, and it's like open season. And Yandy can't take it. She deflects and she lies. Okay. It's just like Yandy, I would just let them talk and don't say nothing, because the lying and the arguing is making her look really stupid. So Sierra starts talking about Mendeecees cheating, but apparently she's drunk. Remember, I said Sierra seems like she's intoxicated most of her, um, when she's with the ladies. So Yandy claims Sierra isn't really giving her any information. So basically, Yandy is like, girl, you're telling me something, but what are you telling me? So Yandy is again making excuses as if she doesn't know what Sierra is saying. And then she goes, well, nobody can tell me anything. Like she knows everything. So it's like she's deflecting to the point where it's becoming irritating. Okay. Sierra starts crying at this point and yelling again. She goes into saying that she's having a mental breakdown at this point. She's having a mental breakdown about the miscarriages and the anxiety and the depression medication. So, yeah. So this is where I skip ahead, because between now after that happened, then they had a brief scene where Scrappy is with his new girlfriend and questions are coming up like, Scrappy, are you still sleeping with Shakira? And that was like really brief. So I really wasn't going to talk about that, but that is what happened next. Now, what what ended up happening in this meeting right here is karlieredd versus Bambi versus karlieredd. Because the issue that karlieredd has with Bambi, I don't know if you guys pay attention, but they've been saying for a long time that Bambi be trying to go back behind them and mess with their dudes. If y'all recall, we got Amy Luciani. Bambi was talking to somebody that she had went with. Karlie is bringing up the Benzino hot tub incident. I don't even know if Bambi and Karlie knew each other at that time, but Karlie kind of brought it up in her confessional. Now there was an incident with Spice's ex and Bambi. So Karlie is bringing up all of this in her confessional. But what Karlie is saying to Bambi is that, Bambi, you are conducting business with my ex. Bambi stated, listen, I'm not doing business with him anymore. That's pretty much dead in the water. And Bambi is like, and girl, I wasn't talking to you anyways. And I was just like, wow, those friendships be like, look, girl, I can do it. I wasn't talking to you anyway. So it was a little weird because Bambi was like, girl, I wasn't even talking to you anymore. Now, at this point, the other ladies start to arrive. Keep in mind, it was only four of them. It was Bambi, Karlie, Sierra, and Yandy. Now, at this point, everybody has started to arrive. And when I say everybody, I'm going to give you guys the names. It's going to be Jasmine will arrive. Well, let me put them on the screen. I'll put them on the screen. So all of these ladies, they're going to arrive shortly. So they have started to arrive at this point. Now, who comes next? Okay. So Jasmine and Yandy. Now, if you guys recall, previous Jasmine and Yandy actually had a conversation in which Yandy says, you guys are in a poly relationship. Remember? Well, Jasmine, after meeting with Rashida and Kurt, one of the things she said to them is, I feel like Yandy kind of threw that out there and try to make it be out there. And I didn't really Jasmine is like, I've kind of felt like I left there and didn't make it clear, although I said that's not true. So yeah, so Jasmine is like, girl, I got you. So Jasmine is on one. So Jasmine wants to address Yandy because, listen, she feels like last time it wasn't clarifying. She wants to make sure she has the last word. But Yandy is like, girl, we don't need to talk again. We've already talked. We've talked and you told me what you told me. But Yandy is playing the television game because she's making it still seem as if Jasmine told her something, but I don't believe Jasmine has told her anything. Yandy knows how to play the cameras because Yandy says, I'm only going off of what you said, to kind of insinuate that Jasmine did say something, but Jasmine couldn't have told her anything because if she did, Yandy would have been very specific as to what Jasmine said. But here it goes. Jasmine is pretty much like, no, girl, when we left last time, I left feeling like I let you overtalk me, and that's not what had happened. Now, Jasmine is starting to get real pissed off at Yandy, and Yandy can feel it because then Yandy says, listen, Jasmine, I never disrespected you. Then Yandy goes, girl, you just really trying to change your story after you spoke to whoever and they got in your ass. So what Yandy is saying, girl, you went to speak to Rashida and Kurt and now you're trying to change it, but she never really said anything. It was more so Yandy was over talking her and she kind of felt that and she wanted to fix it for the cameras, right? So let's get into it. So Yandy is like, girl, they was gonna get into them folks got in your ass, and now you want to come back here and fix it. Now, Jasmine is like, bitch, listen, if you keep talking to me like this, I'm gonna air everything out. So I don't know what the hell Jasmine knows about Yandy and Mendeecees, but I can tell you this. Yandy corrected and was like, girl, I don't want to have any problems with you. She says, listen, I don't want to have any problems. So at some point, they, ended the conversation, but, Jasmine was like, she called Yandy out of her name because she was like ready to turn it up. But Yandy was like, no, girl, I don't really have a problem with you. She said, listen, I don't feel like you had anything to do with what's going on between me and Rashida and Kurt. But again, Jasmine was ready. Like, girl, you tried to play me last time by just saying stuff, and I'm ready for you today because I didn't tell you that. So I believe that Yandy is trying to stir the pot by making it seem like Jasmine said something, but yet she can't say what Jasmine said, which is clear that she didn't say shit. Okay. Now we are getting into Karlie and Jessica, and I don't know which round this is, but let's get into it. Karlie has a problem with Jessica because she's saying, girl, you also was being too friendly with my ex-husband. You were all taking pictures, yada yada. Jessica again is doing a Bambi. Jessica was like, girl, me and you wasn't talking anyway. And frankly, I didn't even know that he was there. I was literally there for whatever reason she says, but feels like she doesn't owe Karlie any explanation. And furthermore, she says, Karlie, you think everything is about you. This is not about you, and I don't owe you SHIT. Now, at this point, Karlie is screaming, okay? Jasmine jumps. I'm sorry. So Karlie is screaming. Now Jasmine jumps into the conversation and asks about her friend and was like, what about my friend who was pregnant by your ex-husband? If y'all remember, the man that Karlie was married to had a baby by another girl. And if y'all recall, Karlie had went online and was dragging a girl. But this is now when it turns to Karlie versus Jasmine, because Jasmine is like, girl, what about you doing that to my friend? Well, Karlie goes smooth the FUCK off. Um, Karlie's like, I didn't know about her, but Karlie is, I don't know at what point she didn't know about the girl that was pregnant, because Karlie actually went online and said some really mean things about the girl. So Karlie goes berserk crazy and starts saying she don't really have to. Karlie is like, I don't care about this stripper hoe, is really what she said. She's calling the girl every stripper hoe in the book. She goes crazy. She's screaming. Then Karlie looks at Jasmine and said, she's the dumbest. Karlie says, Jasmine is dumb and pretty much the dumbest side chick or something ever that she ever saw. Because she says, no, this is what Karlie says. And I'm like, Karlie, this is too much. She said, you had a baby by Rashida and Kurt. She did not have a, Rashida had nothing to do with that. So Karlie says to Jasmine, who has a baby by a married man? Why are you even here? It's pretty much what Karlie is saying to Jasmine. So it goes really crazy because now all of the other ladies are jumping in and they're like, Karlie, like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you disrespecting, this woman like this? Because Karlie is calling T-Lo's baby mother all type of hoes. She's a stripper. She's this and that. But they're like, look, however she has to provide for her child, why are you dragging her and calling her all of these names? So of course Karlie went crazy and was like, I don't have to um I don't have time for a stripper hoe. So she just went crazy. She was calling the lady all kind of names. Okay. Now, of course, if y'all remember, I don't know if it was I think it was last season. We saw Jessica crying to Yandy about knowing about her cousin that was allegedly messing around with Mendeecees, sending Mendeecees a message, whatever it was. But Yandy is like, girl, wait a minute, girl. Yandy is like, you're fake because, first of all, you come to me, you are crying as if you care about me. You are crying as if you care about my marriage, but yet I see you on the screen and you are dragging me as if you were really fake. So Jessica, Yandy is like, she fake, and Yandy calls her a fraud because she like, girl, if you didn't care about me or my marriage, that's fine, but why are you crying to me as if you care? Which I can kind of understand, okay? Because Yandy is like, you're being fake, but also Yandy is being very deflective and she is battling it out with everybody because she doesn't want to talk about her cheating ass husband. So Jessica and Yandy go back and forth. Now Jessica states she is a man hater. Now, if y'all follow Jessica's story, she does have a problem with men. And if y'all even listen some of the, crazy stuff she says, every man that I have, I F this stuff up. So Jessica is a little off up there. She says she's a man hater. She says she also felt that Yandy was taken up for mendeecees. And Yandy is like, girl, are you dumb? And then Jessica's like, are you dumb? So pretty much Yandy does not want anybody to talk about mendeecees. If you mention mendeecees, if you say he was cheating or he was with somebody or you saw something, Yandy is ready for battle. So it pretty much ends with them going back and forth with each other about, the Mendeecees situation. And then Yandy is asking Jessica as if she asked some of the other ladies, like, why do y'all care? Like, pretty much, why are you wanting to be in my marriage so much? Why are y'all asking me all these questions? As if, girl, they're not on a reality show. So Jessica says, okay, Yandy, I love you just as much as Mendeecees, do, because, Jessica is trying to be funny. So I think the episode was really, really, really good. It was a lot that took place. Like I said, there were a few things that I didn't really talk about so much. And it was really, really like the scrappy situation with his baby mother, because typically, she had the event for for her son. And of course she told them like her and Scrappy still be getting it in, which was, a one-off situation. And then Scrappy was reminded by somebody else who said it in front of his new girlfriend. And then the Zane situation, I didn't really speak on that either, but because I feel like the majority of the show was surrounding these ladies and all the drama that they had going on. So I don't know if y'all had the opportunity to watch the show. It was really good. Now, next week, it's going to be even better, I think, because Yandy and Rashida is going to sit down and they gonna get into it. Okay, so I am really, really looking forward to that. Let me know what y'all think. If you guys have watched the episode, let me know what you think, and I will see you guys in the next video. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that. Also, make sure you guys enable your bell notifications, because when you do that, you don't miss out on the video. It's going to notify you. And also make sure y'all following me on whichever platform you're on. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Nothing got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lakeysha Keysha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell cause the tea don't stop.